From Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida, we have high school football for you on a Friday night as the visiting 2-0 Dunbar Tigers take on the 0-1 Riverdale Raiders. A pleasant good evening to all who are tuning in wherever you may be. This is Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play call of tonight's action as a very talented Dunbar team rolls into the Riverdale community to take on a Raider team that has had a not-so-positive start to the season. After having their Week 1 game against the North Fort Myers Red Knights canceled due to lightning, they endured a close 14-6 loss against the Palmetto Ridge Bears in Naples last Friday night. They are searching for their first win of 2016 against a team that began the season by blowing out the Ida Baker Bulldogs by a 25-7 final score, as well as Lehigh last week by a 28-0 result. Let's see how Riverdale can adapt to their powerhouse opponents as we head into the beginning of tonight's matchup. Coming into this ball game, it is very crucial for Riverdale to familiarize themselves with the recent accolades of this talented Tiger football team. Dunbar enters the 2016 year after a highly successful previous season where they conquered as district champions in the Class 5A District 12 standings. They continued to dominate in the FHSAA Class 5A playoffs before falling short to the Jesuit Tigers in the regional championship game, 42-0. They ended the year with a 10-3 overall record. Meanwhile, Riverdale is hoping to bounce back after a disappointing 3-7 year back in 2015. So right now we are having the coin toss out at center field here at Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida. This is Nick Rush giving you the call of tonight's action on the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network. This is a huge matchup between two rival schools, I would say. These are two squads that face against each other every single season, and they alternate home. So one year it's at Dunbar, the next year these two teams face off at Riverdale. The rotation lands on Riverdale for 2016, and these two rivals are ready to clash, and this is a huge deal, and this is the reason why. In fact, it is such a big deal that we have three different types of radio broadcast coverages for you in tonight's action. You have, of course, what you are tuning into right now, the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network. On the other hand, you have Tiger Radio, which is a local radio station which is affiliated with the Dunbar Tigers. They cover every single Dunbar football game, whether that be home or on the road. So they made a visit today to the RHS press box. Meanwhile, a local Fox Sports Radio affiliate has also named tonight's action as its game of the week. So once again, you have three different types of radio coverage here in tonight's ball game, and that just shows you why tonight's game is going to be an exciting one. I imagine that these are two teams that really are going to clash at it in a very close battle. I cannot honestly tell you, in my unbiased opinion, who is going to come out on top in tonight's ball game. Riverdale certainly is a very changed program. You really cannot make an assumption based off of last year, because Dunbar, they made it to the Southwest Florida Regional Championship. Riverdale ended 3-7. These are two very different teams, many new players. Let's see how it unfolds. So after the coin toss, it has been concluded that Dunbar will take the ball first to start this game. They will move from left to right across your computer screen in this opening quarter of play. Riverdale will move from right to left. So the Raiders begin the game on the defense. Kicking off the ball is the Riverdale kicker, J.P. D'Alessandro. And it looks like Kenny Benjamin is going to be on the return here for Dunbar, who is back towards the Dunbar goal line. D'Alessandro taking a few moments to tee up the ball here. Everyone is in position, and it looks like we are finally underway for some Raider football, and it's on time as well. It's a short squib kick rolling up the far side to around the 35-yard line. It is going to be gobbled up by Rocky Jock Louis. And Dunbar has some very nice possession on this opening offensive drive of the ball game, as once again we are finally underway. There was a kicking violation penalty going against the Raiders on that opening boot. As a result, Dunbar is going to get some extra yardage, and they are going to take it at the 40-yard line. That's where the officials are going to bring it. Actually, let's take a look here. It looks like they're going to do a re-kick. At first, I thought there was a penalty and Dunbar was going to get some extra yardage there. Instead, the officials say, we're going to do it all over again. So D'Alessandro resets up the ball. And right now, the Raider team, they're huddling together before this kick. It makes you wonder if they have something sneaky planned out here. So once again, Kenny Benjamin set to return this ball. Let's see if Riverdale is going to go for another squib kick or if they're going long. D'Alessandro's in motion. It's another short one, a floater going to the 35 up against the far sideline. Catching that ball off the fly was Keanu Young, and he tripped up right over his own player. Getting in his way was Seneca Millage, and they just tripped over each other. So that really did have the potential to be a really nice return there for Dunbar. Anyhow, a miscue results in the ball being spotted at the Dunbar 37. So we are officially underway, 7:34 p.m. And it's the first time at Riverdale where we have not had a weather delay to start the evening. We are on time and set to play. Jairus Johnson is going to be your starting quarterback for the Dunbar Tigers as he is back into shotgun formation. Takes the snap. Here's a screen pass off to his left side intended to Tariq Thomas. He was wide open for it. Anyhow, he bobbles it. And as a result, that's an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 for the Dunbar Tigers. Just underway here in today's ball game. 11:54 left to go here in your first. It's a 0-0 score between Riverdale and Dunbar, live from Karl Engel Field at Riverdale High School. We're set to go for your first of 4 12-minute quarters. Here's a rush up the middle to the Dunbar running back. He's swerving around, finally gets down at the 45 at the center of the field, and on the carry for Dunbar was Lawan Preston. And he is going to get a 7-yard gain. 3rd and 3, it's a quarterback keeper as Johnson is going to keep control, and he surges through the line of scrimmage. Anyhow, he will not pick up nearly enough for the fresh new set of downs. So it's a unsuccessful attempt here for the Tigers. And right now we do have an official's timeout at the moment. Not too sure exactly what this is about. Looks like there's a little bit of confusion on the placement of the ball. So right now you have the 4 referees getting together. And it looks like right now they are going to roll out the chains. Now visually it did not look like Jairus Johnson had a chance to cross over for the first down. Anyhow, you never really can tell. So the officials are holding down the ball at around the 47. And out come the chains. So the officials bring them together, and yep, the original case is going to stand. It is 4th down, and just short is the call. So it's a 3 and out there for Dunbar, as they can't get any good luck rolling on their opening offensive drive of this contest. And once again, Jairus Johnson had a nice quarterback keeper there. Dunbar came out to the snap at a very fast rate, and Johnson, he didn't hold back. He tried to lunge forward and hoped for the best of luck. Anyhow, that was not the case. Okay, Benjamin back to punt. That's received for the Raiders. So it is going to be a punting situation here for Dunbar. They're going to do exactly that. Quantavious Brown on the return for the Raiders. Kick is going to be up from Kenny Benjamin, booting it up off of the right foot. And this is a nice return going up to the 30-yard line. And correction, with the ball was Jalen Cochran, who got a nice effort there, breaking off one tackle, but finally goes crashing out of bounds up against the near side, and there is a flag towards the whistle at the end of the play. So this did come after the kick, so let's see what the officials are going to rule the call here. There is a little bit of a brief delay. And right now the officials are trying to settle this out up against Raider benches, which is off to the near side. Dunbar sitting off to the far end of my broadcast position. And it turns out the flag was actually a false start call going against Dunbar. So the call was actually at the beginning of the snap, so it looked like someone on the offensive line flinched there for Dunbar. Meanwhile, Dunbar heads to the defense, Riverdale to the offense. Ball is going to be spotted at the Raiders' 21-yard line. Clock frozen at 11:01, and it's still a 0-0 contest. Thank you for tuning in as we are just underway for a high school football action on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Nick Rush giving you the call of this evening's action. Out comes the starting quarterback, Daniel Ulmer, for the Riverdale Raiders. Shotgun formation, and he will give the ball away to Deshaun Lane, who is actually back for the carry. He gets a nice surge there as he is stopped at the 35 up against the Raider benches. Short gain makes it second down.
Second down and 1 for your Raiders.
So the Raider offense hoping to capitalize off of the nice strength from the Riverdale defense. And thus far, what we've seen from the Riverdale defense here in 2016, they're very strong, very aggressive. They're not afraid to make some hard hits. Getting a piece of the ball this time is Spencer, Malcolm Spencer to be exact. And it looked like he was stopped right on the line of scrimmage. Anyhow, he will get enough for the first down somehow. He took a hit towards the line of scrimmage and was then dragged backwards. But he's able to get the arm out and pick up the first down. Ulmer in shotgun formation. There's your snap. Going a rush up the middle is Spencer, and he is dragged down just over the 45-yard line as Riverdale is still in their own territory. So it's going to be second down and 2 as a result of the whistle on the play. And that's how the Riverdale offense likes to function. They're not a team that tries to score as quickly as possible. They're not afraid to run it. They pick up their gains little by little. So they're not afraid to really take their time and try to get a nice game plan figured out. Ulmer nearly bobbles the ball back in shotgun. He is dragged way back all the way at the 30. Anyhow, there is a flag thrown up against the far side dasher. Two men got on top of Ulmer there. It was Wilson Gregg and Justin Michael, and it's a false start call going against the Raiders. So Riverdale doesn't benefit from that play whatsoever as the Dunbar defense was playing in the blitz. As a result, ball will be laid at the 40. Nice crowd on hand here at Riverdale High School for some great football action on hand. Tickets are $6 a piece if you are interested in coming out to any of our future events. Ulmer laying back in the gun again. Right off the snap, there is another towel thrown on the field by the officials. That's a short pickup coming to Spencer. And at the start of this ball game, it's been a nice slow beginning due to these violations. So it appears that this is also going to go against Riverdale. Ball is now further spotted backwards at the 34. So Riverdale just keeps going back and back and back. And that looks like yet another false start call. So right now the Riverdale offense are having a difficult time adjusting out there. And it's penalties like those, the false start, that can really just kill momentum and just greatly hurt your team, and it's so preventable as well. I believe as the game goes by, Riverdale will adjust because that's just the way they have played the game over last season and coming into 2016 as well. Here's a short, low-lying bullet up the middle, tipped and deflected away from the Riverdale wide receiver, Deshaun Lane. As a result, it's going to be 3rd and long now for the Raiders. And Dunbar is doing a great job thus far, making sure that no wide receiver remains open for the Raiders. They're doing a great job covering everyone up. And the defensive linemen are putting some great pressure on Daniel Ulmer at the moment. He's back in the shotgun, and there's a reason why, because it gives him a few extra moments to prepare for a pass after the snap. He knows how tough this Dunbar defense is, and complete pass right into the hands and right back out of number 9, Seneca Millage. So it's a 4th down for the Raiders. That's good news for Dunbar. The bad news is that they could not pick up what would have been a very easy interception to capitalize on. Millage, the pass was right to him in the backfield at around the Dunbar 40-yard line. It was right to him. There were no other players around, but it goes right into his hands, plops right back out. But either way, Dunbar is prepared to get the ball back and head out to the offense. There's a kick from J.P. D'Alessandro. A nice spiral to this kick. Returning it here is Shockey Jock Louis, and he calls it off at around the Dunbar 35, and that is where they will start their second offensive drive of this ball game. 8:12 now left here in the first, and it's still 0-0. Both teams having shots to get on the board first. Anyhow, neither team able to capitalize just yet. We were talking about the weather and how there is no lightning in sight in the Southwest Florida radar. I certainly do not want to jinx anything, but we'll tell you about that after this next play. Here's a pass. Right side, it's a screen, and another bobbled one. It was a backwards pass, the officials call it. So very quickly, Tariq Thomas had to race after it and plop onto the ball at the 20. And once again, Dunbar seems very shaky on the offense. It's another nice screen pass. Wide receiver can't get control, but it was ruled a backwards pass, so it's a very brief loss, nothing too drastic. It's 2nd down and about 13 for the Tigers. Rush up the middle to the running back, and that player is going to be jammed right on the line of scrimmage. Laquan Preston just picked up his 2nd carry of the ball game there. Well, according to this evening's local forecast, it is 86 degrees with the humidity percentage sitting at 65%. Wind is blowing from left to right across your computer screen at 8 miles per hour, and there is a precipitation chance of 40%. Your overall forecast is a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, and it's a great night for Raider football. Johnson releases it down the near side to the 35, and it's going to be picked off by the Riverdale Raiders. What a fantastic defensive play as Tyrone Campbell gets right in front of the intended receiver on the play. Jeremiah blanks, and those two are really battling it out up against the near side, but Campbell gets the last word as he's able to maintain possession, and Riverdale gets the ball back. This first quarter scoreboard reads 7 minutes and 22 seconds. For those tuning in, There is still no score. You are listening to the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Nick Rush giving you the call on what is looking to really be a great defensive ball game. But let's see how it goes as this night progresses. Here's Spencer marching across the 40. He takes a bad hit up against the Raiders sidelines, and that makes it second down and about 3 to go.
Takes the ball out to the 41-yard line. Second down.
Well, it really is nice to see clear skies above us here at Riverdale High School. A few clouds here and there, but they're far off in the distance, off to the left and right side of my broadcast position. If you listen back in towards the preseason game against Cypress Lake and the Week 1 matchup against North Fort Myers, you know how brutal the Southwest Florida rain can be, as we head into the end of summer. Spencer with another beautiful carry all the way to the Dunbar territory at the 40, up against the far right side. He is shoved out of bounds, and it's a first down Raiders. Well, back in that North Fort Myers football game, which was 2 weeks ago here at Riverdale High School, we had about 3 different delays. You had one at the beginning of the game, which was about 2 hours, if I recall properly. Players out there stretching, they're ready to go. Lightning alarm goes off. Players need to get back in for another 30 minutes. Players get back out again. Lightning alarm goes off. And we'll tell you more about that in just a moment. It's first down Raiders. Spencer with yet another opportunity with the ball, and he'll gain 2 yards on the play. Well, finally, we were able to get the ball game started at around 10:09 p.m. with your opening kickoff. Game ended at 10:30 anyhow as a result of more lightning in the area. So the weather is nice. It's crisp and cool with the nice breeze blowing through the field. And hopefully it remains smooth and without precipitation as the night rolls on. Second down and 8. Ulmer taking it in the I formation this time, changing things up a bit. Spencer gets to carry yet again, another short gain. And the Raiders head back to the huddle on third down as they are just inside the Tiger 45-yard line. So it seems like a huge cycle here for Riverdale. They snap the ball, hand it off to Spencer, and they're hoping he can get something rolling. Anyhow, you definitely don't want to tire out your running back. So let's take a look at their play variation and if it changes as we continue on with your first quarter. Spencer ramming through the line of scrimmage. Anyhow, it's once again not enough, and it's fourth down for Riverdale. He's just about 2 yards shy for the fresh new set of downs. 0-0 score, 4:47 left here in your first. So it's fourth down anyhow. The Raiders are going to go for it. This is something that they practiced back in the preseason game against Cypress Lake. Going for it on fourth down. It's a bit risky. They think it's a bit risky for JP D'Alessandro anyhow to kick it from this distance, and they don't want to punt it either. They give it to Spencer. Guess who it is? And he is going to get more than enough this time for the first down as the Raider offense remains out there on the field. So that was fantastic playing there for Riverdale. It's fourth down and about 3 to go. Very risky, very questionable. They didn't want to punt it away anyhow. They believe that it would have been taking a chance to have JP D'Alessandro out there going for a long-distance field goal all the way out from around the 35-yard line. So the Raider coaching staff decides to give it to Spencer again, and it capitalizes. So we have a timeout going against the Dunbar defense. That's their first of 3 here in this opening half. And with 4:21 left in the first, we have a 0-0 score. Raiders resume with the ball right after this break. Live from Karl Engel Field. 4 minutes and 21 seconds remaining here in your first quarter between Riverdale and Dunbar, where we have a scoreless tie, and the Raiders continue their offensive drive. First down, deep in Dunbar territory, inside the Tiger 25. Spencer is the ball carrier here, and he gets about 3 yards on that play. Malcolm Spencer's name, that is one that you are going to be hearing all throughout the course of tonight's action. He's in his senior year. He has that quick lightning speed, very sturdy out there, and his balance is just phenomenal out there. So he knows how to take a few bumps without just going down right then and there. Shotgun snap. Here's a handoff. This time it's going to Zach Sanders, another running back on the play there. And that's now a Riverdale third down as a result of the short gain. So a smart decision there for Riverdale. They trade out Malcolm Spencer to Zach Sanders. And I believe they only had Spencer on the bench for about one play there. They brought out Sanders. Sanders is also a running back with a lot of power. He took over the main running back role in last year's game. So Riverdale, they have 2 great running backs to alternate with, which is exactly what you want out there. So after one play, you have Spencer coming back out. He's recharged as he takes a breather. Pass is picked away by Dunbar. Running up the far sideline is Justin Michael, running all the way up to the 45-yard line, and he is going to be stopped. Well, that was a very ugly play for Riverdale all around. Daniel Ulmer was pressured. He had a defensive lineman right on him. Eric Young was the one who got on Ulmer. Anyhow, he's able to throw it away before taking the heavy hit, and he threw it away out of desperation that time around, and as a result it goes right into the hands of Michael, who gets the ball back to Dunbar and also gets a nice amount of yardage off of the carry as well. Riverdale defense getting right back to work immediately as Kenny Benjamin is the ball carrier, and he is tackled back behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2. Folks, it's now time for your uniform descriptions of tonight's ball game for the Riverdale Raiders. As usual, in their home matchups, they are dressed in their garnet red uniforms, white script numbers with a gold outline on the front and back, garnet red pants, white helmets with the garnet red script R on both sides, a garnet and gold stripe running right down the center of the helmet as well. Here's a very impressive rush coming to Keanu Young, and he is going to be stopped just short of the first down. It's 3rd and 2 for the Dunbar offense as Keanu Young had some nice speed on the play there, found some nice gaps in the Raider defense and just took advantage. Now coming under 2 minutes to play here in your opening quarter of regulation. Neither team still not on the board just yet. Johnson, the quarterback, back into shotgun formation. That's a botched snap. Johnson has to get right on top of it. And it's now 4th down for Dunbar. So once again, it's just botches like that and mistakes that can really just make you beat yourself up. That was a nice 3rd down conversion that Dunbar could really make things happen with. Anyhow, due to that botched snap, it's 4th down. Dunbar is going to have to punt it away once again. Dunbar, they are dressed in their road white uniforms, the orange numbers on the front and back, orange and white pants. It's white pants with a orange script running down the sides, or an orange trim rather, excuse me. Meanwhile, they have white helmets with the Dunbar D in green and orange off to both ends. So the uniforms remind me a whole lot like the Miami Hurricanes, and of course Riverdale, they're sporting the garnet and gold, so it's like a Florida State and Miami Hurricane football game if you think about it. It's just at the high school level. So the punt comes from Kenny Benjamin at Dunbar, and that ball is going to skid all the way down the near side to the Riverdale 25, and that's where they are going to start this drive with 1:02 left in your first. I formation for the Raider offense. Dunbar defense looking rather jumpy as they almost got drawn up with an offsides. Anyhow, that is not the case. Spencer with the carry, and he is going to be halted right on the line of scrimmage. The officials do conclude that he picked up about 2 on the play. Riverdale has not thrown a single pass here in this first quarter of play. And eventually I feel like that's exactly what they're going to have to do to throw off this Dunbar defense. 30 seconds left off of a rolling clock. Riverdale hoping to strike first. Anyhow, they're deep back in their own zone at the 35. Guess who? It's Spencer. He runs right into multiple Dunbar defensemen there. And that's another gain of about 1. And as we head into the end of your first quarter, it's a 0-0 score between the Riverdale Raiders and the Dunbar Tigers. So what a first quarter it's been. Both teams have really excelled with the defense, and that's the reason we are scoreless up to this point. So for now, we are going to take a quick break and come back with your start of the second quarter, where Riverdale continues the offensive drive, and it all comes right after this on the Riverdale Raiders broadcast. Riverdale and Dunbar are scoreless in high school football action from Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School as the Raiders continue their offensive drive. And they now move from left to right across your computer screen for the fresh new quarter of play. On the other hand, Dunbar will run from right to left. Meanwhile, it's your first play of the second quarter, and Riverdale is going to call a timeout. That's their first of the opening half of play. So it looks like they're really trying to draw up a game plan. In that first quarter of play, they just kept giving it to Spencer. Play after play after play. He's a very quick guy. He can be very effective in a ball game, an all-out game changer. But giving it to Spencer on every single play, I just don't believe it's the right thing to do. Well, before the players lined up for that opening snap, which still has yet to happen, Riverdale was taking a few extra seconds in the huddle as a part of that break between first and second quarter. So it looked like they were trying to set something up, but they called the timeout so they can get more in-depth of what they need to do in the second quarter if they hope to draw first blood and maintain a potential lead. I formation for Ulmer. Spencer can't make it across the first down marker. And as a result, it's fourth down Riverdale. And they have no other choice than to punt this ball away. Riverdale, they are a risky team. They love to take chances and go for fourth down conversions, but they're deep back in their own zone, just inside the 30-yard line. Going for it would not be a smart decision here. J.P. D'Alessandro back for the punt for the Raiders. And before we can get the snap, there is a timeout going to the Dunbar Tigers. So yet another timeout here. Anyhow, this one goes to Dunbar. During this break, meanwhile, we will let you know about the two coaches here in tonight's ball game. On the Riverdale sidelines as the head coach is Tom Roselle, who enters his fourth season as the head coach of the Raiders. He previously coached the club from 2007 all the way through 2009. The head coach of the Dunbar Tigers is Sammy Brown, who enters his first season as the leader of the Dunbar High School varsity football program. So Sammy Brown finishes his quick speech with the Dunbar team. Same for Tom Roselle and the Raiders, as both teams are back out on the field. Riverdale, most likely, they're going to stick to their original plan, and they are going to boot this ball away. Here's the punt. D'Alessandro bobbles the ball. He does not have any time whatsoever to punt it away. He is sacked all the way back at around the 20-yard line. Courtesy of a nice head start there on the Dunbar defense by Rocky Jock Louis. And of course, you've heard of Rocky Jock Louis in tonight's contest, and also Shocky Jock Louis. And of course, as you can imagine, they are twin brothers. If you listen to the Battle of the Bell contest last year between Riverdale and Lehigh, you probably are slightly familiar with those two names, and that's because they are both Lehigh transfers that went to Dunbar. And these are two men that are quick on their feet. Rocky Jock Louis taking over in a defensive position here for Dunbar tonight. Shocky sticking to the offense just like he did back in Lehigh. Here's a rush going all the way to the 15-yard line, as Lawan Preston was on the carry rushing up the near side. 10:55 left here in the second. Nothing, but Dunbar has a very nice opportunity to score first, as they are just outside looking in to the Raider 15. Shyrus Johnson, the quarterback, back into shotgun. Here's a rush going up the middle to Lawan Preston, who scrambles around the fenceman, and he is going to be laid out for the stoppage. So the first two plays for Dunbar on this offensive drive were short. Neither of them were enough for a first down, so as a result, it is going to be down number 3 for Dunbar. Raider fans trying to make some noise right now for the Riverdale defense to come up with a nice stop about 4 yards ago for Dunbar. If they hope to pick up the first, it's going to be a very close call. Getting to the 10-yard line there was Lawan Preston once again. And the officials are going to confirm it is a 4th down. And as a result, Dunbar is going to get a line change in here, and it's possible they may kick for a 3-point field goal. And it looks like that is going to be the case. Holding down the snap for Dunbar is Xavier McDonald. Booting it up is Tariq Thomas, who's booting it off of the right foot. Actually, that's opposite, excuse me. There's the kick, and it's blocked away. Unbelievable. It's scooped up by the Riverdale Raiders back at the 50-yard line by Connor Johnson. That is absolutely shocking. So let me get that correct. It was Xavier McDonald kicking and Tariq Thomas making the hold, but the kick came off the right foot of McDonald, and Connor Johnson just got right in front of that ball, tipped and deflected, and this game remains scoreless with 9:04 left in the second. But that one should have been just a nice chip shot for Dunbar, but that vicious Riverdale defense comes into play and shows some of the great potential that they have. It's going to be very exciting to see what they have to offer here in the 2016 regular season schedule, as we are currently in week 3. Shotgun snap and a rush to Spencer gets him across the 50, and it's 2nd and 9. Once again, Daniel Ulmer and the Raider offense still not chancing in, just giving the handoff to Spencer, Malcolm Spencer, number 6 once again for Riverdale. Ball right on the 50-yard line. And this is what makes the game of football so exciting. You never know what's going to happen on the next play, and that attempted field goal for Dunbar proved what I just mentioned. 45-yard line, it's a pass, and incomplete. There was no man open down the near sideline except for Deshaun Lane, but there was miscommunication. The pass was very short as Lane was chugging down the near sideline. He already got to the 30 before the pass was nearly picked off, as Lawan Preston almost got that in his hands, but he wasn't close enough to the ball to really get his hands around it. Lawan Preston playing for Dunbar on both the offense and defense, as he is a running back and a defensive end. And so far, this has been a game of turnovers in this first quarter of play. Ulmer rolling out to his left side to the 40. He's going to make a run for it, and he is absolutely wiped out at the 40-yard line. Coming up with a savage hit there for Dunbar was Wilson Gregg. So Riverdale, you really do have to admire how they switched things up. They went for a pass, didn't work out so well. A quarterback keeper came in there for Daniel Ulmer, the starting quarterback. But there is going to be a personal foul call going against Dunbar, and actually there are two penalties, one for Riverdale, one for Dunbar. They're both personal fouls, and as a result they both even out. It's still going to be fourth down here for Riverdale. And it's all the way back to the Raider 30. So of course it's fourth down. Once again, they're deep in their own zone. Best opportunity, punt it away. You certainly don't want to give anything to Dunbar to where they can get on the board and capitalize off of that, because I can tell you right now, it may be a very slow start for Dunbar, but once they score, they can get some energy rolling, and they'll use that as motivation to make the scoreboard out of control. So it's going to be third down, actually, as a result of the penalty. So what happened is, well, now there's going to be a timeout for Dunbar, so we'll have a quick break here. Well, meanwhile, what happened there was both penalties were slashed out since they went to both teams and they decided to redo the play. The ball was spotted back to the Raider 29-yard line. Anyhow, it was still third down. So they have one more chance, and it really is good news for Riverdale that Dunbar made that timeout. Because Riverdale, it saves them a timeout first of all, and now they have a nice opportunity to really get things straight out there on the field as the stoppage comes with 7 minutes and 43 seconds left here in quarter number 2, where it's still 0-0 between the Riverdale Raiders and the Dunbar Tigers. Live from Riverdale High School, Karl Engel Field is a location, and Nick Rush is giving you the call on the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network. So out comes the Raider offense here. It's been a few plays ever since Malcolm Spencer has had the ball, so that's a good opportunity for him to really charge up. And he is going to be the man in the back this time. It is shotgun once again for Ulmer and the Riverdale offense. There's a little bit of a stoppage here in the action. And finally we get the play. Ulmer drops back to the 25, going deep down the far sideline, and that's going to go incomplete. Getting out there, trying to come up with a nice attempt for the Raiders was Deshaun Lane. Anyhow, he could not get connection with that ball, as Keanu Young on the Dunbar defense was actually able to tip and deflect it away out of bounds up against the Dunbar sidelines. So it seems like Daniel Ulmer is passing a little bit shaky here, as he's still starting to get accustomed to getting in those windups and those passes. It is fourth down here for the Raider offense, so it is going to be punted away by D'Alessandro. Nice big snap there, but he gets it away before taking a huge hit, and there is a flag. Most likely that's going to be a roughing the kicker, as coming up with a crunching tackle on D'Alessandro was Kenny Benjamin. Meanwhile, the ball is going to bobble all the way down to about the Raider 25 before it is snatched up by Roygerian Williams. So it is a personal foul, a roughing the kicker on Dunbar.
Penalty is against Dunbar for roughing the kicker.
And let's see what the consequences are going to be as a result of this. Right now, some Dunbar players are throwing their hands up saying, what did we do wrong there? And now there's going to be an official discussion starting up here. The Raiders' Paul Johnson gets in there trying to get what the call is and relay it back to the benches for his team. And this should be good news for the Raiders. Because I will tell you this, J.P. D'Alessandro is back to make the kick. And right after he clearly got the ball out of his possession and knocked it downfield, he got knocked down. And there was an official right up the near sideline who witnessed the entire thing unfold. Throws the flag, and in my opinion, that's a nice call. So right now we're still trying to see what's going on here for Riverdale. It seems as if Dunbar is going to get possession of the ball back. Anyhow, let's wait until everything's said and done. Ball is going to be laid to the 15-yard line in the Dunbar end. So as a result of that penalty, Dunbar is going to keep the ball, to be exact. Anyhow, they have it far back in their own zone, and this aggressive Raider defense can really capitalize by drilling the Dunbar offense and keeping them back. Jairus Johnson all by himself back in the shotgun formation. He's going to go for the screen off to the right side. Coming up with the successful completion was Tyreek Thomas. And he is going to be tackled for a gain of about 2 on the play up against the far sideline. Paul Johnson was on the tackle there for the Raiders. Quite a few Johnsons here between these two teams. You have Jairus Johnson for Dunbar, the starting quarterback, and Paul Johnson, a Riverdale defenseman. Paul Johnson is a linebacker on this team. The ball is fumbled, but who got on top of it here? This can be huge, and it's Raider ball. That right there is a game changer. 6 minutes, 37 seconds left now. Hold up. It is going to be reversed and is a Dunbar third down. Now that was very interesting. Fans erupted. The marching band started playing the Riverdale fight song, and then they had to suddenly stop as a result of the reverse call. Yeah, that's a bit hard to swallow if you're a Riverdale fan, because that would have been a huge opportunity for Riverdale to run the ball right in. They would have started the offensive drive at around the 10-yard line, rush up the middle. This is going to be into the hands of Dunbar's Lawan Preston, and he is going to be halted right on the line. And it's already 4th down. So unfortunately, Riverdale did not get the turnover that they originally wanted. Anyhow, they do get a very impressive defensive stop as this Raider defense just refuses to quit. And Dunbar, they're coming off a successful 2015 year. Once again, they played in the Southwest Florida Regional Final game. Coming into this ball game 2-0, so you would have thought this would have been perhaps a big dominating performance by Dunbar. Anyhow, that's not the case. In this Raider defense, they are truly showing how much they have changed over the offseason with a new coach and plenty of young players. 32-yard line is where the ball is going to be spotted for the Raiders as they take control and Tiger territory. 5:13 left in the first.
We have a flag on the play.
And now there is going to be a flag on the play.
Personal foul against Riverdale and a personal foul against Dunbar.
So there once again are two personal fouls. They are going to offset as one goes to Riverdale and one goes to Dunbar. So overall, that's not going to affect too much as the Raiders get the ball back in their possession. And right now the rock is being sat upon the 34. This is a very crucial ball game for Riverdale as they are still looking for their first victory of the 2016 regular season schedule. Meanwhile, the officials are going to delay things here momentarily, and the ball is going to be replaced to the 50-yard line. And that had to do with those two personal foul calls. So the officials get things spotted out there.
It was just a personal foul against Riverdale. It's marked off from the end of what was down. Your Raiders still have the ball. 1st and 10.
And it looks like there was actually another penalty call going against Riverdale. So they had two from the looks of it, and that's the reason they moved the ball a second time. So there were multiple calls there going against Riverdale. Here's a rush up to Malcolm Spencer. And he's going to place the ball at the 45. That's a gain of about 5 on the play, and it's 2nd down. 5 minutes to go until halftime. Riverdale, they are a part of Class 7A District 12, and as we look at the updated standings of the division, the South Fort Myers Wolfpack are in the driver's seat as they sit at a 2-0 record heading into Week 3. Gulf Coast sitting at 1-1 in 2nd place. And the Raiders are in the 3rd and final spot in the 3-team district at an 0-1 record. There is a fumble. Dunbar takes over, and this is going to be a touchdown. Dunbar 20, 15, 10, touchdown. Dunbar Tigers as they draw first blood. The scoop and score is going to be credited to Greg Wilson, the Dunbar defenseman, who went hustling down the near sideline, and that sucks the life out of these Riverdale fans as it's now a 6-0 Dunbar score. And that tally comes with 4:22 left until halftime. Well, that was a heartbreaker there for Daniel Ulmer and the Raider offense. Snap seemed very proper there. Anyhow, Ulmer just had a bad hop on it, and the Dunbar defense just got right to the ball, and they score as a result. Xavier McDonald comes out. That PAT is going to be good. So Dunbar scores first, but it is defensively as the two offenses continue to work things out. It's 7-0 Dunbar leads with 4 minutes and 22 seconds left here in quarter number 2. We'll be back right after this on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. 4:22 left to play here in your first half as Dunbar takes a 7-0 lead courtesy of a fumble return from Greg Wilson of the Dunbar Tigers. Riverdale hoping to respond quickly before we run out of time here in your first half of play. McDonald has set the ball up on the tee here for Dunbar. The Tiger team is set, and McDonald with a very short squib kick. That ball is going to roll out of bounds up against the Dunbar sidelines. That's going to be a kicking infraction, as a kickoff cannot roll out of play without it being a penalty. So that's good news for Riverdale. McDonald just had bad connection there off of the right foot, and that ball rolls out of bounds. So Riverdale is going to get some extra yardage at around midfield. They need to capitalize off of their previous offensive mistakes. They need to just keep playing that good Raider football where they slowly but surely pick up yards. Recently, we begin to see them get more risky with passes. Anyhow, that has not been a very happy statistic for the Raider offense, for lack of a better term, as there have been some miscommunications between the quarterback Daniel Ulmer and multiple Riverdale wide receivers. So that's something they're just going to have to work out. Halftime is up and around the corner in just a little over 4 minutes, so that just shows you how Riverdale is going to take a quick breather. They'll get to address how they can improve in that second half of play and what they can do to maybe tie this up, take the lead, whatever it may be. And Dunbar, they're going to do the same exact thing. They're going to talk about their mistakes. They're going to talk about capitalizing with the scoop and score. And they're going to talk about how they can extend their advantage, which is currently at 7 points. Ball is at the 45 as the Raiders are starting up their offensive drive. Ulmer back in the gun. Handoff going to Spencer. He fumbles the ball, and Dunbar is going to recover at the 30-yard line. Well, that is just humiliating if you're a part of the Raider offense. Now let's take a quick look here whether this is going to be an actual turnover or not. Right now, Dunbar players standing still. So let's see if that call is going to be reversed. I believe what the officials are saying right now is Spencer had his knee down before the ball was released. Now here in high school football, at least in the Southwest Florida region, we do not have instant replay. So the officials just need to make their best judgment call. But right now it seems as if the offensive line for Riverdale is remaining out on the field. Same for the Dunbar defensive shift. So it's possible that this may not be Dunbar's ball, at least just yet. Right now officials still going through the discussion. Ulmer comes back out, so good news. Riverdale keeps the ball, and it's going to be second down. Right now, the Raider offense has already broken the huddle. They're ready to line up, but the ball hasn't been spotted. The officials haven't stopped the discussion just yet, and it is going to be Raider ball. Riverdale fan section approves of that call. So there is no fumbled ball. Raiders get the ball back. It's second down and 12, so that previous carry from Spencer was a 2-yard loss, as the Raiders take it just outside the 45. High formation. Spencer in the back. Sure enough, Spencer gets control of the ball, and plays like that are very easy for Dunbar to read. They have really studied their Riverdale offense, and they're really starting to crack down on the Raiders. And of course, they knew coming into this game that Spencer was going to be a huge target, so of course, it would be a natural reaction to get right after him as soon as he gets the ball in his hands. That's another brief gain. 3rd and 10.
Timeout on the field. Timeout taken by your Raiders.
Raider timeout being taken here as the clock freezes with 3 minutes and 41 seconds left here in quarter number 2. Dunbar has a 7-0 advantage at the moment. Raiders with the ball, however, as they hope to turn things around and maybe tie this up before we head into halftime.
Doing our halftime show, you won't want to miss it. So don't miss it. We know it comes down. We get the Texas fans. We want the Texas fans brought by the great Raider band.
Well, this is game 1 of a 2-game homestand for the Riverdale Raiders as they face off against the Dunbar Tigers tonight. Game 2 will take place next week on Friday night, as the Raiders will get to face the visiting East Lee County Jaguars once again on Friday, September 16th. That game has a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. That is the annual homecoming event for RHS, and tickets are certainly going to be flying by fast before the game on Friday night. So if you are interested in coming out and supporting the Raiders next week for their homecoming action, remember to get to Karl Engel Field early to secure your seat. It's going to be a very nice crowd, a nice atmosphere, as the Raiders hope to bring home a win on homecoming night. But right now they are focused on finding the way to reverse this 7-point deficit against Dunbar. You have to take it one game at a time. So Ulmer rolling out to the right side, pass up to the 50-yard line. Ball is going to be tipped away. Coming up with a nice opportunity there for the Riverdale Raiders is the wide receiver, Rogerian Williams, who is marching up the near side towards the Raider benches. It looked to me as if he had possession originally, but then a Dunbar defenseman was right on his back, and he's able to block it away, and it's 4th down for the Raiders once again. So right now the Raiders, they have some really talented players out there, but they're just having a hard time making things click at the moment. Here's the kick from D'Alessandro as he tries to avoid being kicked. And oh, look at that, it's a turnover. Raiders have control. Is it a touchdown? Yes, it is. Now, wait a minute. It is out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Raiders with an unbelievable play, and that was a rookie mistake there by the Dunbar return man, who I believe was Lawan Preston. He had the ball right in his hands at around the 30-yard line. He was up in the air to catch it, and he took a hard hit. He didn't have time to call it off. He did not. And as a result, a Raider defenseman just absolutely speared him out there at around the 30. Ball came loose, and recovering it for the Raiders is Rogerian Williams down the near side. It looked like he was going to take it all the way eventually, but the ball came out as a fumble at the 2 and then rolled out of bounds up against the near side. Dunbar Tigers take a timeout as they hope to defend their 7-point lead. Anyhow, right now, the Raiders, once again, they have been a huge fan of pressuring the Dunbar defense with the Riverdale running back Malcolm Spencer. This is a perfect opportunity to use him. They give him the handoff, and he can run it right in. Anyhow, Dunbar knows what's going to happen here. The running back is going to get involved, so they're really going to tighten up on the defensive line. Riverdale has 3 opportunities, maybe 4, but that all depends on what they choose to do here on 4th down. But anyhow, once again, when it comes to the game of football or any sport for that matter, you just need to take things one play at a time. Don't worry about 4th down. It's a fresh new set of downs. You have the ball at the enemy 2. Run it in. Try to get it right here, right now, so we can have a tied-up ball game at Karl Engel Field. Seems like the officials all throughout the course of the evening have been in a discussion with each other. There have been many rather controversial plays anyhow in calls, so of course that most likely has to do with it.
Maybe it's not there.
And now the ball is going to be taken back to the 15. What's that all about? Now it's back to the 20. What is going on here? This is very questionable. I'm wondering, does Riverdale even have the ball? Yes, they do, but I'm a little bit perplexed right now as to why the ball was taken all the way back to the 20. So it's all the way at the Dunbar 20 instead of the 2. What a big difference that is. 3:19 left here in the second quarter. Riverdale still with a golden opportunity to strike, whether it be by touchdown or field goal. Malcolm Spencer trying to hold on for your dear life, and he does so successfully, getting across the 20-yard line, 2nd and 8.
On the tackle for Dunbar.
So Dunbar fans can take a sigh of relief there as the ball gets moved back 18 yards. Raider offense, you can bet they're not going to get too crazy here. Most likely they're going to keep it going to Spencer. There it is. Spencer moving up the left side, and he is stopped dead in his tracks at the 20.
the ball carrier.
It's now third down, gain of 1.
Loss on the play. Bring up third down.
And they've been using Malcolm Spencer so much, the Riverdale Raiders, that the Dunbar defense has grown accustomed to tracking them down. And that's the reason why Riverdale is occasionally switching it up, going for a pass down the field, maybe having Daniel Ulmer go for a quarterback keeper. But things have just not worked out. Once again, these two defenses have really controlled the flow and the pace of tonight's game. And even the sole touchdown in this game goes to Dunbar on the defense. This is going to be incomplete. Batted away out of the possession of Deshaun Lane running up the near side. A Dunbar defenseman was able to hop in front of it, and to be exact, that was Shannon Reed getting an extra hop on the ball. Tries to pick it off, only can get one hand on it. So let's see what Riverdale is going to do. Are they going to go for it on fourth down here? It looks like that's the case. Or maybe not. That is going to be a correction. There will be a field goal here for J.P. D'Alessandro. Kick is going to be nailed down at the 25-yard line for the Raiders. Holding it down is Daniel Ulmer. Here comes the attempt, the kick, and it's going to be blocked way left. Getting in front of the ball there for Dunbar was Shannon Reed, who bust through the line, and there is a flag on the play. This could be good news for Riverdale if it goes in the Tigers' direction. Well, it was tipped off of the hand of Shannon Reed, who got his right hand on it to be exact, and that ball went flying way wide left. And there is going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct call going against Dunbar, as there was a little bit of extra celebration going on among the Dunbar defense.
It's not the big one, that's the little one, unfortunately. So that'll bring, it's a 5-yard walk off. It'll still be fourth down.
It's still going to be fourth down for the Raiders. As a result, you had D'Alessandro getting a second chance, kicking it in between the two uprights at the center of the field. This time, snap will be held down at the 20. And there's going to be another whistle as the Raiders will call a timeout with 1:51 left here in the first half. And I wonder if this has to do with the Raiders possibly going for it here on fourth down. It's not something that I would want to risk. If I were Coach Tom Roselle, I would keep out J.P. D'Alessandro because he has the potential to just get the Raiders on the board. And you saw in that opening attempt before the flag, he got some nice airtime behind it. It was just blocked loose by a Dunbar defenseman. So I would certainly keep him out there. And he's kicking it in between the two uprights, so I feel like it's the best decision. And let's see if the Raiders are going to stick with the decision of kicking a field goal or going for it. They are going to go for it. All or nothing, 6 points or bust. And D'Alessandro certainly is a kicker with a large amount of talent, so I certainly believe that he should still be out there, but I am not the coach, I am not a player, so we roll on. Fourth down conversion, pass, and that's going to be incomplete. It is a turnover on downs, as coming up with the block is Greg Wilson. So out of a fantastic opportunity for the Raiders, they pick up nothing. That was the closest they were to tying up this game at 7 apiece, or at least picking up 6 on the board, but they couldn't get things going. So it's still 7-0 Dunbar. They head back out on the offense. 1:46 left in your second. What a shocking first half it has been. The good news for the Raiders is that this game is not over in the least bit. It seems like the Riverdale offense is just struggling, drive after drive after drive to get things going. But all it takes is one play for this game to turn on its head, and that's exactly what we saw with the Dunbar touchdown. It was a fumble recovery and a defensive touchdown. And here's a rush going right down the center of the field to Preston. And that's a fresh new set of downs for the Dunbar Tigers. Coming up with that touchdown earlier for Dunbar, in case if you missed it, was Greg Wilson. Omer fumbled the snap. Wilson picks it up and runs it the distance for the Dunbar touchdown. And there is going to be a flag on the play, most likely an offsides, as Paul Johnson on the Raider defense was creeping a little bit too close there to the line of scrimmage. And the Raider defense is going to be slapped with a 5-yard penalty. It's crunch time for the Dunbar offense if they hope to increase their 7-point advantage. It's the I formation. Handoff, running up the near side, and this is a nice situation going to Keanu Young, running up the center of the field to the 35-30, 25, and he is taken down right up the far sideline. How unbelievable is that? Keanu Young ran it up the near side, and by the time he was tackled, he was up the far right side of the field, just jerking in between defensemen and making sure he could do whatever he could to stay on his feet. What a phenomenal play there by the Dunbar Tigers. And Keanu Young under center is the quarterback Johnson. Rush going to Young, and that time the Raider defense is not taking any second chances. They're hopping right down on him, and that's going to be a brief loss. And there is going to be a Dunbar player down right now on his back, as it's now second down for Dunbar. Now, very fortunately, that player is going to be taken back up on his feet, as down was Jeremiah Rice on the Dunbar D. It took him a few seconds to get up, maintain his footing, but a teammate's able to help him up, and we're back to football. Clock rolling down to 20 seconds left until halftime. 7-0 Dunbar lead. Dunbar holds it at the enemy 25 and the Raider end. Pass down to the end zone, and that is going to be caught and complete. Unbelievable. A wide receiver was just streaking down the far left side of the field. It looked visually as if Shockey Jock Louis, the attendant receiver on the play for Dunbar, reeled it in. Anyhow, that was not the case, as he had only partial possession, crashing out of bounds. Ball at the 27-yard line. 6.2 frozen here on the clock. This very well could be the final play for Dunbar on the half. Let's see what they can make out of it. Johnson back at the 35. Johnson throws down the far side, and it's finessed away by a Raider defenseman, as once again Shockey Jock Louis was hoping to reel it in once again. He had a second opportunity to put 6 on the board, but it would not go. Jalen Cochran was the one who was able to get the right arm up and block the ball out of play, and frozen on the clock is just 0.2 of a second. So what will Dunbar do? It seems as if they're going to go for it here. 4th down, 0.2 left until we head into halftime. Do or die here for Dunbar if they hope to extend their 7-0 lead. Johnson at the 35, looking, throwing, end zone, and it's incomplete. So it was a very rough first half of play for both teams, but as we head into halftime, it's a 7-0 Dunbar lead over the Riverdale Raiders. So with that being said, we are going to head to a break during halftime. We will come back with your second half of play right here on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network in just moments, as the Raiders are going to head into the second half with the ball to start your third quarter. That's all coming in just moments. We'll be back right after this. We are back on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network, live from Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida, as we are back and ready for halftime as the Dunbar Tigers lead over the Riverdale Raiders by a 7-0 score. A little bit of a scoring summary as We will have your kickoff in just moments. These two teams remain scoreless throughout the course of the opening portion of play. Meanwhile, in the second quarter, you had a fumble from the Riverdale quarterback Daniel Ulmer. Greg Wilson, the Dunbar defenseman, scooped it up and ran it to the house to put Dunbar on top by a 7-0 score. And that is where we head into the start of your second half of play, where once again Dunbar leads by 7. Riverdale currently being shut out. Anyhow, they do begin the second half of play with control of the ball. Kicking the ball for Dunbar is McDonald. It's booted up. That's a very nice line drive. That's going to go sputtering down the far side. And out of play it goes. Is back to return that ball for Riverdale was Roy Williams. Anyhow, he could not catch up to it. As a result, that's a Riverdale touchback. And they will start the first drive of the third quarter right at their own 20-yard line. Riverdale running from right to left across your computer screen in the third quarter. Dunbar moving from left to right. We also have some scoring updates for you heading into your second half of play from some of the action going on in Class 7A District 12 with the Gulf Coast Sharks and the South Fort Myers Wolfpack. Gulf Coast, they are at home hosting the Miami Monsignor Pace Club. Those two are tied up 13-13 at the half. South Fort Myers, they are at home and leading 7-2 over the Lehigh Lightning. So that is how Gulf Coast and South Fort Myers is holding up thus far on this Friday night, as they are the two Class 7A District 12 competitors with the Riverdale Raiders. Up to the 35-yard line, that ball is going to be carried with a 15-yard advantage there. And it was none other than the Riverdale running back himself, Malcolm Spencer. He was really worn out in the first half of play, getting the ball a numerous amount of times both in the first and the second. And he comes right into your third quarter of play with an impressive 15-yard dash up the center of the field. Riverdale starting quarterback Daniel Ulmer. Snap and handoff to Spencer, rolling up to the far side. He breaks off 2 tackles and picks up a gain of 5 yards, as this is now going to be second down. So Riverdale, they have had more than plenty of time to really analyze what has went down in that first half of play throughout the halftime break, and they can use that analysis to their advantage. They can pick up what they did wrong, what they can do to improve, and maybe even gets their opening points up on the board as they trail to Dunbar by a 7-0 score. 10:53 left in the second. Ulmer back at the 30, throwing way down the far sideline. That's going to be bounced out to the hands of Deshaun Lane. There is going to be a flag anyhow going against Dunbar, as Marcus Young is going to be drawn up for the flag against Dunbar. And right now this Dunbar defense, they are absolutely fuming at that call, and that was on the opposite end of my broadcast position. Well, anyways, we'll break up that thought to tell you that there is a pass interference. Anyhow, is going against the Raider offense, rather the Dunbar defense. So that's not exactly going to help Riverdale's case, as they are dragged back numerous yards all the way to the 25-yard line in their own territory. And it is going to be second down and 20, the official ruling from the officiating crew. So it's second down. Ulmer, don't be surprised to see him going downfield again. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to try to throw it away, rolling off to the left side. Bullet up the center of the field to the 50. It's going to be blocked away and complete, as wide open at the center of the field was Roy Williams. Anyhow, that play did not go his way. It's now third and long for the Raider offense. Ball remains at the 25 for Riverdale. And I mean, it only makes sense for Riverdale to go for those passing situations. So far, although Malcolm Spencer has played a huge part in this game as the Riverdale running back, he can only do so much, and they really can't expect him to pick up 20 yards in one serving. So let's see what they can do. It's a pass. Deshaun Lane. Is it caught? No, it's not. It's incomplete. Deshaun Lane, he's really kicking himself right now because it looked like he had possession all the way down to the Dunbar 30-yard line. He held on, but not tied enough. He went crashing down, losing control of the ball, and can you really blame Deshaun on that play? I honestly say no. He once again had a defenseman right on his back as this Dunbar defense remains very agile and tough. So I think it's fair that you really have to give Deshaun Lane credit for putting in that extra effort. He had the ball in his hands, but got a bit roughed up as he went down, and now the kicker, J.P. D'Alessandro, is going to be tackled all the way back at the 10-yard line as he picks up the snap, but he is going to be laid out for a loss. Rocky Jock Louis credited with the tackle there for the Dunbar Tigers. And so far, J.P. D'Alessandro, you can't really blame him either. He has had some rough snaps come his way from the Raiders center. A lot of bounce snaps, and when you have to pick it up off the ground, you keep your eyes off the field. You're looking at the ground trying to scoop up the ball. So really, D'Alessandro could not see what was in front of him, and he takes a rough hit. Here's a Dunbar first down, as coming up with a very impressive carry was Lawan Preston, absolutely leaping over a Raider defenseman just to get that extra yard in there for the first down.
10 yards on the play. It'll be
First and goal, Tigers. Just on the verge of maybe making this a 13-0 ball game. Here's Lawan with a rush again, a toss to be exact, off to the left side of the Dunbar quarterback, Jairus Johnson. And that's going to be a gain of about 1 on the play as it's second and goal. Under 10 minutes left to play here in your third. Defense chant begins to start up here at the Riverdale fan section. That just shows you some of the passionate fans. There's many of them here in this Riverdale crowd. They want to see this strong Raider defense to come up with the stop. Oh, what an amazing run. But did he get in? Yes, he did. That's a touchdown, Tigers. Unbelievable carry from Lawan Preston as he catches in. Once again, adding that nice leap there, and it's just enough to get his arms across the goal line. That's a Dunbar touchdown. It's 13-0 Tigers. 9 minutes and 24 seconds left in your third. Out for his second PAT on the night is Xavier McDonald. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. It goes soaring out towards the scoreboard back behind the uprights. And just like that, Dunbar takes a 14-0 lead. So they're really starting to hit their stride right now, coming out at halftime. And let's see if they can keep up the energy as Riverdale heads back to the offense right after this on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. 9:24 is what is left in your third quarter, as it is now a 14-0 Dunbar lead over the Riverdale Raiders. Riverdale about to head onto an offensive drive. Nice kick coming from McDonald, a line drive, heading straight to the ball carry on to play back to the 15. That man is going to be tracked down immediately. And once again, it was Roygerian Williams trying to get to it. Anyhow, he did not have a very large reaction time at all. And Riverdale is going to begin this offensive series deep on their own soil on the right side of my broadcast position. It's a very exciting time of the year here at Riverdale High School. Coming up this upcoming week, it's homecoming week here at Riverdale High School, and a lot of football is going to be enjoyed, including Wednesday night. It's the annual Powder Puff competition. We'll include more info on that in just moments. It begins at 6:30 p.m. Daniel Ulmer back in the gun, handoff up the middle, going to Spencer, and he is going to be taken down at the ankles. That's going to be a negative carry of about 1 on the play. Well, the annual Powder Puff tournament here at Riverdale High School, it's a football tournament where you get to see girls out there play the game of flag football. You have juniors play freshmen, seniors play sophomores, loser after that plays loser, winner plays for the championship, or winners play for the championship rather. Carry up the middle, going to Spencer, and he is going to be hauled down for yet another negative gain running up the far side, and it's now 3rd down. Well, right now Spencer proceeds to get the ball, but he is getting frustrated out there. This entire game, he has been worked as the Riverdale running back, and he's just starting to get roughed up right now. Dunbar defense has really memorized Riverdale's style of play, and they're going to use that to their advantage as they currently lead 14-0. 8 minutes left here in your 3rd, and you are listening to the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network for some high school football. This is Nick Rush giving you the call. Ulmer back at the 15, going deep down the near sideline. Is it going to be caught? It's picked off, and Dunbar comes the other way. It's a pick 6 for the Dunbar Tigers, and what looked like a SportsCenter top 10-like play. The ball came out of the hands of Williams into the loving arms of Trayvon Kennedy, the Dunbar center back, runs it straight in up the far right wing side, and with 7:38 left in your 3rd portion of play, it's a 20-point Dunbar advantage. You really do have to give credit to Kennedy there for just staying on that wide receiver the entire time. The ball was bounced around between the wide receiver and Kennedy, but he's able to keep the ball alive, and he runs it right in. Meanwhile, McDonald buries another PAT as he is 3 for 3 on the night. Dunbar leads 21-0, 7:38 once again to go and your 3rd. More Riverdale Raiders football coming up right after this from Southwest Florida. We are back to action as Dunbar is now starting to show no mercy to the Riverdale team. It's 21-0, and left here in your 3rd quarter, it's 7 minutes and 38 seconds left. Nice kick here by McDonald. Anyhow, a flag does immediately hit the floor right after the kick was released. Some fans were calling for an offside there, and it appears that they're going to get exactly what they wanted, so there will be a re-kick here from McDonald, the Dunbar kicker. The kicking tee is going to be placed further back, 5 yards to be exact, so he is going to be booting it up from the 35. And let's see if the Raiders can use that mishap to their advantage.
Fans, if you're up at the stands but you're standing along the fence line, please have a seat. If you're up in the stands but standing along the fence, you need to have a seat, please.
So meanwhile, McDonald sends it up. Another beautiful kick, and this time it counts. So it's going to be ran up the far right side. Beautiful carry coming from Williams before he's taken out at the 35-yard marker. So Riverdale, it's time for them to really get into that crunch time attitude. There's still plenty of football to be played, but at the moment, it's a 21-point advantage for Dunbar. They're really starting to get this scoreboard out of control. And the Tigers, they want to blow this game out of the water. They want to put Riverdale out of their misery. So it's time for the Raiders to really just find a way to get things going. But it's easier said than done. It's almost as if they've ran out of options. They're having a hard time getting Spencer free of Dunbar defensemen. Right now, they're having a hard time just connecting passes. And there is some illegal substitution going on with the offense. 5-yard penalty, 1st and 15 for Riverdale.
Lehigh 2.
And right now that Riverdale bench is becoming a very hostile environment at the moment. A lot of players are becoming frustrated, angry with each other, as well as the coaches right now. They're a little bit disappointed with what's been going on thus far. And look at Spencer going across the Dunbar 50. He goes loose to the 35-30, and he will be ejected out of the playing field for a Riverdale 1st and 10. Well, there's Spencer getting loose, getting open, and as a result, he gets a massive gain on the play. Now Spencer, of course, he's not able to get open every time, but there are occasions throughout the course of a ball game where he gets that second wind, and he just puts all his energy out into a run. He has lucky bounces come his way, and then he gets that very nice gain as Riverdale is now invading the Dunbar end of the field at the 30-yard line. It's the I formation. Ulmer under center, Spencer in the back. It's going to be a pitch off to the left side. Spencer is going to be stopped for a gain of 2 on the play. It's a very quiet environment on the Riverdale fan section. Thus far, this fan club has not had too much to cheer about, as Riverdale is still searching for their first points of the ball game. Meanwhile, the Dunbar end, which is off to the far side of my broadcast position, just behind the Dunbar sidelines, fans over there having a great time. They have nothing but good things to say about their team. Here's a big chop going down on Spencer, and that makes it 3rd down after yet another short advancement.
Stop by. Come on, Dunbar. Defensive play. Brings up 3rd down. We'll say 3rd down and 4.
3rd down and 4 to go to the first down marker for Riverdale. They desperately need points at this point of the ball game, and if it comes down to 4th down, most likely there will be a 4th down conversion for Riverdale. Handoff, rolling up the middle, going to Spencer, and he is going to get a few extra yards after breaking a tackle, and he is going to stride across the 20-yard line, and that's going to be a Raiders 1st down. So Spencer just gets that extra amount of energy to muscle forward past the tackle. And Dunbar right now, the defense is looking very shaken up and frustrated, so the Tigers are going to call their opening timeout of the second half. And they're going to try to get a little bit of a game plan going to stop this Raider offense. It seems like this Raider football team has had no problem getting into the enemy side of the field, getting those big gains, but when it comes to getting the ball in the uprights or getting it in the end zone, either way, it's just so complicated, and they haven't had things go their way. Right now, it's a 3-possession ball game for Dunbar. So if Riverdale can't get things going right here on this offensive drive that they are currently in, if they can't score, if they can't convert in the form of a touchdown, then I would say the odds are heavily against them. Anyhow, I would never say that this ball game is over. Of course, it is only the 3rd quarter, 5 minutes, 54 seconds left. But right now, everything seems to have been going Dunbar's way thus far here in the action. Ulmer sends Cole Schneider in motion from right to left. Handoff going up the middle to Malcolm Spencer. And it's 2nd down. Seems like every play you just hear Malcolm Spencer's name, and it's the truth. That just shows you how reliable of a figure he is for this Riverdale offensive line. He'll get out there, bang his head on a play. He'll head back up to the line, get another play in. Now, Cole Schneider, who we just mentioned moments ago, he is a hard hitter on this Riverdale team, and he has recently found some huge success in his high school career as a football player in his senior year. More after this play. Ulmer under center. Schneider yet again in motion, in the back from left to right. Handoff Going to Spencer, and he'll pick up a brief loss on the play as it's now 3rd down. Well, a little bit more information about Cole Schneider. He certainly is a big guy, very intimidating if you're an opposing player out there on the field. If you compete on the defense, no matter what position it is, there is one man on that Raider offense that you must watch out for at all times, and that's a 6'4", 305-pound senior, Cole Schneider, who is certainly a force to be reckoned with out there on the field. He is entering the season as an offensive guard, and Schneider lives up to his hype in more ways than one. Hey, it's a fake handoff, throw off to the right side, and that is going to be blocked. Shannon Reed hopped right in front of that low-lying pass from Ulmer as he was running out to his right side. Reed says, nope, not today. And it is now down number 4 for Riverdale. And once again, they're desperate for points. They're down by 3 drives, so it's up to them to convert on this 4th down conversion. Let's go Raiders chant breaks out. These fans still staying in it, still remaining hopeful despite the large deficit. Here's Ulmer out of the I formation, pass is way ahead and incomplete. Deshaun Lane was the man open in double coverage running down the far side. Ulmer's pass was way off, and as a result, Dunbar takes control of the ball deep in their own zone at around the 25-yard line. Correction, it's going to be just inside the 15. Well, more about Cole Schneider here. He lives up to his hype as he currently holds a grand total of 12 collegiate football offers, which are coming from very well-known universities and football programs such as Marshall, Central Florida, South Florida, University of Massachusetts, and Minnesota. Expect to witness a strong senior campaign in the upcoming season from this rising star. Dunbar begins to drive with Lawan Preston getting a touch-up on the ball, and he gets ahead 3 yards. So once again, Dunbar up 21-0, 3:34 off of a rolling clock here in quarter number 3. I formation yet again for Dunbar. Preston giving it a second try. Anyhow, he doesn't get too far with no gain on the play. That's a Dunbar 3rd down. Raider defense hoping to come up big with a 3-and-out here at the moment. Holding Dunbar deep in their own zone at the 20-yard line. Here's a pitch off to the right side, and that runner breaks loose. That's a 1st down. Dunbar to the 40, 45-50, 45-40, and down the sidelines he goes. That's going to be a touchdown, Dunbar. And this game has turned into an absolute slaughtering from the Dunbar Tigers. It was Lawan Preston. They say 3rd time's a charm, and it's true on that drive. It's his 3rd handoff of the series for Dunbar, and he runs it right in. No problem whatsoever. Found a gap, and just like that, he's already in the end zone. Trying to hustle to make the tackle for Riverdale was Connor Johnston. Anyhow, he could not keep up with that behemoth speed of Lawan Preston. It was absolutely something seeing him break out full steam ahead. 2:38 left here in your 3rd is where that tally comes in. We'll have a little bit to tell you about Connor Johnston in just a few moments as we speak about him. He talked a little bit about how this Raider team can improve here in the upcoming season. This is a very close kick coming from McDonald as it brushes, or nearly brushes rather, up against a left hash mark, but gets in for the extra tally. It's 28-0 Dunbar. More 3rd quarter football after this break. Dunbar has now advanced their lead to 28 points, courtesy of a nice rush up the middle from the Dunbar running back Lawan Preston. Your scoreboard reads 28-0. 2 minutes, 38 seconds is what is left here in quarter number 3 on the scoreboard. Williams on the return, catches the kick from McDonald off the fly, and he just gets absolutely buried at the 15-yard line up against the far sideline. Well, just before the commercial break, we mentioned Connor Johnston during one of the plays, and I also mentioned that I was able to talk with him just a few weeks ago prior to the season. I wasn't able to tell this story about Johnston or what he shared with the football team because we had all these frequent rainouts from the preseason game against Cypress Lake and week 1 against North Fort Myers, but I was able to chat with Johnston, and he really had a lot of great insight to share on how the Raiders can improve in this upcoming season. Once again, Riverdale, they're coming off a 3-7 2015 season, finding ways to improve with new players and a, quote, new head coach, as head coach Tom Roselle is in his 4th year with Riverdale as the head coach, but it's his first time on the sideline since 2009. Spencer gets the touch and a short gain on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 8. Connor Johnston is an athlete that should certainly be known for his versatility in the game of football. Throughout the 2015 season, Johnston competed on the defense as a cornerback and linebacker, but during last May's spring football game, he tried his hand on the offense as we switched between the quarterback and wide receiver positions. That's very important to do in this sport. We'll tell you why in just a moment. Spencer gets ripped up behind the line of scrimmage, and that's going to make it 3rd and long for the Raiders. Coming down to 1 minute and 35 seconds here in your 3rd quarter. Well, once again, it's very crucial in the game of football to really be versatile, play multiple positions, be experienced, because you may find that you enjoy one position over the other, or maybe you even perform better at one of the tasks. It isn't a talent that every athlete possesses, and in tonight's event, he is participating in this game as a defenseman. He's also seen experiences, once again, a quarterback, as I just mentioned, and even a slot receiver. Handoff going right up the middle here to Spencer. And this game is absolutely turned into the Malcolm Spencer show, no doubt about it, for the Riverdale Raiders. It's going to be 4th down and 6. And with Riverdale deep in their own zone, it's best for them to punt it away here. Anyhow, there is a correction. You do have to remember, it is a 28-0 score, so they have no choice but to go for it here. So that's exactly what they're going to do. 4th down conversion. Omer back in the shotgun. It's a botched snap, and he kicks it away out of desperation. That was probably the smart move to do, and it's interesting that he was able to do that. There is a flag on the play, and let's see what this is all about. Well, once again, that was Daniel Ulmer making the kick. He was originally going for it on 4th down, but off of a bad snap, which went way over his head, he's able to corral it in off of his right hand, and he kicked it away out of desperation, which was the smart move, because now Dunbar has it back to the 50-yard line. That flag is going to be... Well, we're still waiting for it right now. More confusion breaks out on the field as 18.5 is what remains here in this quarter number 3 clock. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct going against Dunbar. And believe it or not, Riverdale is going to get the ball back. So that flag benefits them as they roll on with this offensive drive. Once again, it was unsportsmanlike conduct going against Dunbar, and that's what can really kill you once again in the game. It's just basic penalties like that. They seem very preventable, but perhaps when you're out there on the field, it's easier said than done. So Spencer will wrap up this last play of the third quarter with a 5-yard rush down the center of the field. Raiders head into your fourth quarter down by 28, and they head back out to the offense on a 2nd and 5 situation. We'll be back right after this on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. It is 9:37 p.m. here in Southwest Florida as we are now in quarter number 4 of high school football between the Dunbar Tigers and the Riverdale Raiders. Riverdale currently trailing the Dunbar by a 28-something score. Anyhow, the Raiders head into your fourth quarter of play off a 2nd and 5, and Zach Sanders is going to be the ball carrier as Riverdale made a smart move here. Zach Sanders comes off of the bench, and he is going to have some good playing experience here, filling in for Malcolm Spencer, who has been worked through all 3 quarters of the ball game. So expect to see Zach Sanders get some nice attention here in the fourth quarter from the Riverdale offense. Daniel Ulmer, the Riverdale senior quarterback. Shotgun snap, rush up to Sanders. He gets whacked at the line of scrimmage. He is going to be dragged back by 3 different Dunbar players, and many more are going to join into the scramble, and it's going to be 4th down. And he's actually going to be stopped just about a yard short for the first down marker. But once again, with the Raiders now down by 4 drives, it is now up to Riverdale to get this 4th down conversion going on right now. So let's see what the Raiders have drawn up here, if they're going for another carry with Sanders or what. Right now it's a blitz for Dunbar. They're tightening in, and oh my goodness, that is unbelievable. Daniel Ulmer tries to go for a quarterback keeper, and he is absolutely rocked. This game is an absolute knockout. This is Dunbar's ball. They're up by 28 with 10:21 left, and I believe they have this one in the bag. But stranger things have certainly happened, and you really do have to give credit to the Raiders for staying into it with the fan section. The Raider fans certainly are loyal, and there is an update. It is a first down Raiders. Originally, the call was a turnover on downs by the officials. Anyhow, after some second thinking, they give Riverdale back the ball, and it's first down. In motion, it's Cole Schneider once again in the back from left to right, rush up the middle, going to Sanders. He is zigging and zagging up to the 40, down to the 35 and the Dunbar end. And Zach Sanders absolutely takes off with raw speed ahead. Now, I will tell you this right now. Zach Sanders enters his junior year with Riverdale, and he had experience, like I mentioned earlier here in the broadcast back in the first half, as the main running back last year, and it seems like he has not lost any of his speed from last year. He is known for wedging his way in between defensemen, and he also has great levitation, just like Spencer does in a way. Well, just before our previous commercial break, I was talking about how I talked with Connor Johnston. We talked about his versatility in multiple positions, and also what he thinks about this Raider football team. How can they improve in 2016? So here's Zach Sanders getting in there yet once again, getting his hands dirty. Short gain of 4 is going to be provided by Sanders as it's now second down. Well, I've talked with multiple Raider football players, and they all say the same thing. This year's edition of the Raider football program is going to feature a much more aggressive team compared to last year. They're going to compete as if they have their backs to the wall because they understand that another 3-7 season is unacceptable. More about the topic in just moments. Sanders up the middle. He is going to be yanked up upon, as getting credited with the tackle is Shannon Reed. Third down, Riverdale. Well, for years, these Riverdale athletes have desired to win a district championship. Anyhow, the coaching staff has inspired the kids to dream further and become an FHSAA state tournament caliber team. It's a long road to the playoffs, and it all begins right here in games like these. Riverdale comes into the game with an 0-1 record, and right now, sure, they're losing control against Dunbar, as Zach Sanders, he's going to get into a little bit of a scuffle here as he is taken down by a big pile of Dunbar players. It's now down number 4. 7 minutes and 53 seconds away from the end of regulation, as Riverdale is down 28-0. Well, you knew Dunbar was going to come out fighting tough, and this was something I also mentioned back towards the first quarter and the start of the second. Dunbar, they were off to that slow start, but you give them the opportunities they need to put points on the board, they will take advantage, and then they're going to start to amp things up. They're going to try to blow it out of the water. That's exactly what they're doing, and a 4th down conversion will not work out as Williams is the intended receiver rolling up the far side. He is denied, and Dunbar, has the ball back.
At their own 31-yard line.
Well, Riverdale, they need to just find some sort of game plan. These are players with a lot of ignition. You talk to them outside a football game, outside the locker room, whatever it may be. These are guys that desire to win. Of course, everybody has a dream, and when you are a football player, everyone wants to win. But Riverdale needs to find some sort of strategy to fix up the holes, and they need to just take a look at the game tape from this game. And right now, the Raider defense has absolutely let a huge hole through for Lawan Preston, who brings it to the Raider 40. And as we head into your 4th quarter of play, Riverdale moves from left to right, Dunbar from right to left. And your final portion of this ball game. And Dunbar, they have greatly improved, of course, especially when you take a look at the starting quarterback, Jairus Johnson, who seems a lot more comfortable in the position, and things are just starting to come much more easy for this Dunbar team. Lawan Preston back at it again with a 10-plus yard rush for the first down. Across the 25 he goes, pacing down the center of the field. Dunbar huddles beginning to get a bit more shorter. They're a lot more confident, and it's amazing to see how their talent has surged when you compare their style of play in the first half to the second. Preston getting his share of the ball again, and he is going to be blocked away at the second. It's second down, and he is blocked away at the 30. Let me reword that. Meanwhile, there is a Dunbar player down. Up against the far sideline, it looked like that player was just running off to the Dunbar benches, and then he collapsed in pain and agony. It appears as if he's holding his left leg right now, clutching on it, as out comes the Dunbar trainers. Meanwhile, we will have an injury timeout with 6:15 left here in this ball game. Dunbar leads at 28-0. Meanwhile, both teams will take advantage of this opportunity, and they will turn this injury timeout into a water break. It really is important for both teams to remain hydrated. It's football in the state of Florida. It's September. It's still the early stages of September and the late stages of summer. So we have had some hot, humid nights in the past couple of football games here at Riverdale, even throughout the rainouts and the preseason game and week 1. It is just brutal out there, especially at the beginning of the ball game when the sun is still shining out in the sky. Now, once nighttime comes, it's a little bit better, but the Florida humidity, especially in the southwest Florida region, it can just be absolutely brutal and unforgiving on the players. So it's very crucial for them to get hydrated, each and every one of these players, whether they're from Riverdale or Dunbar. Heck, even if you're not playing in a game, it's very important to get a nice intake of water to remain healthy. This player is still down on the field for Dunbar. He's right up against the Tiger sidelines, and we still have yet to identify who the player is, and it appears that there was a cramp in the player's left leg, and they help him right back up. And it turns out that is going to be Lawan Preston who goes down with the cramp. And no wonder he was a little banged up with the cramp. He has been worked so hard in this game. Just like Riverdale has been relying on Malcolm Spencer to pick up big gains. But Lawan Preston, he's played a big part to this Dunbar Tiger team all throughout the course of tonight's ball game. So it's going to hurt to see him temporarily leave this ball game. However, if it is just a cramp, then he will be hydrated, and hopefully he'll be just fine after tonight's ball game. Here's a pass up to the far side. Coming up with a nice reception, and the first down for Dunbar is Marcus Young. Dunbar, they're just making this look easy. It seems as if the Riverdale defense, they are frustrated, they feel hopeless, and they're just trying to get this thing over with at the moment. Raiders call a timeout with 6 complete minutes left in this contest. And you knew Dunbar was going to come out firing on all cylinders right at the start of this ball game. Quarter ended back at the beginning of this game for the first portion of play. It was 0-0. Dunbar was looking slow. Riverdale was looking quite sluggish as well. But ever since Dunbar has had that fumble return for a touchdown back in the second quarter of play, courtesy of Greg Wilson, this talent from the Dunbar team has really been hamped up. So right now, both teams are back out there on the field. Dunbar continues with the offensive drive deep in the enemy end. This is an incomplete pass as it bounces right at the feet of Kenny Benjamin, the intended receiver, right on the play. Benjamin was in double coverage, and it looks like he was exchanging some words to 2 of the Riverdale players once the whistle was blown. And right now, this Riverdale's fan section is absolutely silent right now. Seems like you could hear a pin drop from the stands as the press box is located right above it. Here he goes. It's a touchdown, Dunbar Tigers. Keanu Young steps in, gets the job done for the Dunbar Tigers as they make things even much worse on the scoreboard. It's 34-0. 5:38 left in this game. Keanu Young, absolutely nothing stopped him on the play, ran it right up the gut. It's as simple as that. It seems as if he didn't even have to put any extra effort in there. He just made it happen. That was his first play of the Dunbar drive. Xavier McDonald, the Dunbar kicker, sends the ball up and it's right through. He has been phenomenal. Perfect on the night, as he is 5 for 5 on the evening in PATs. So Riverdale remains off the score clock. It's 35-0 Dunbar. And with 5:38 left here in the fourth, we'll be back after another break on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Dunbar continues to capitalize offensively over and over as they have officially blown this one out of the water. It's a 35-0 lead over Riverdale. As right now we have 5 minutes and 38 seconds left here in your fourth quarter. Kicking the ball for Dunbar once again is McDonald, as he has throughout the course of tonight's ball game. Williams is back for the return. The kick, it's a nice high line drive. Williams plays it off of 2 hops, bobbles it, but quickly recollects it up the far side, gets a nice block before he is taken down at the Riverdale 20-yard line. Well, Riverdale, they knew they were coming into a big powerhouse ball club. We talked about the accolades of this team, this Dunbar Tiger team to be exact, last season. We talked about how many veteran players have returned from last year, and it's just been an agonizing night overall for Riverdale fans and players alike. But you do have to remember that this is a Dunbar team that's very similar to last year, where they went to the regional championship and lost by a 40-0 score to Jesuit High School of Tampa. So there is a mercy rule being put in effect here for this football game. The game still is going on. Anyhow, there is an adjustment to the score clock. More on that in just a moment, as Zach Sanders picks up a gain of 1 off the handoff, running right up the center of the field. Well, here in the Florida High School Athletic Association, there is a mercy rule. Once there is a 35-point deficit, the game does roll on anyhow. The clock continues to tick down, even during incomplete passes and players running out of bounds. That clock is going to continue to tick down until this ball game is over, or until Riverdale can somehow get back up on the board. Deshaun Lane absolutely bobbles the ball at the 30. And it's plays like that where you just need to convert. He is right there off to the near side all by himself, and Deshaun Lane cannot grasp the ball. Strangely enough, it has been a night of miscues for both teams. We see more than plenty of mistakes from the Dunbar side as well. As a result of that error from Deshaun Lane, it's 3rd down for the Raiders. I formation, Ulmer with the rush up the middle to Sanders. Sanders struggling. He is going to be redirected to the ground. And that play was 3rd down, as all the chains on the field are corrected. And since you had that short gain from Sanders, it's now 4th down and 6 to go. So that clock is going to continue to roll down here. If Riverdale cannot get on the board, then they remain down by 35. It's a 35-0 score, 2:56 now left. Only time that the clock is going to expire, or stop rather, is through timeouts or even injuries, if that becomes a possibility. So it's going to be punted away by Daniel Ulmer. That's the 2nd time he has delivered a punt in tonight's ball game. He was back in the shotgun formation, and once again that Dunbar defense stayed tough on him, so he had to punt it away out of desperation. Returning it for Dunbar was Xavier McDonald, the kicker there. Or correction, that was Rocky Jock Louis, who brought it to the Dunbar 45. So even as the line changes go on right now, the clock continues to tick, tick, tick down as it's 2 minutes remaining in this game. It certainly has been a very enjoyable night. The Raiders finally have a home game with no horrible weather. It has stayed nice and clear throughout the course of the night, but Dunbar has just sucked the fun out of this one for Raider Nation. And right now it seems as if Dunbar, they're playing in victory formation, and that's exactly what they're doing. Jairus Johnson puts the left knee down, and that's going to do it for this ball game right here. Clock is going to continue to tick down, now down to under 90 seconds. So they're just going to keep kneeing it down until this game is over. But this one's just about in the books. Raiders go down to an 0-2 win-loss record. Meanwhile, Dunbar advances to 3-0. 10 seconds left on the play clock here for Dunbar, trying to milk as much time as they can get out of the clock. Now less than a minute to go. And it's going to be knee down yet again. So one more, and that's going to do it for this competition, as Dunbar is going to carry away the victory by a 35-0 final score from Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School. Jairus Jones right now, he is fully waiting for all 10 seconds of that play clock to go down. He could knee it right now, and this one would be official. He gets in there, kneels, and that does it. This ball game is officially in the books at the end of 4 quarters of regulation. The Riverdale Raiders fall to the Dunbar Tigers by a 28, almost said 28 there. It's a 35-0 final score. And Riverdale, they're going to have to head to practice, watch the tape, find where they can improve, as they were just absolutely demolished by this Dunbar club tonight. So, we'll talk about the next games for these two teams. After tonight's ball game, the Raiders will get right to practice when they prepare to face the visiting East Lee County Jaguars next Friday, September 16th at 7:30 p.m. Once again, that's the homecoming game for RHS. Tickets will be sold at a very fast pace on Friday, so if you are interested in coming out, watching the Raiders compete against East Lee, remember to get to Karl Engel Field early to get your ticket, secure your seat, you name it. On the other hand, the Tigers will return to Dunbar and recharge on their upcoming bye week as they look forward to their next home game against the South Fort Myers Wolfpack on September 23rd. So, that does it here tonight from Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida. This is Nick Rush saying it is a pleasure to have you all on board throughout the course of this ball game, and it certainly wasn't a pleasant game for you Raider fans tuning in. If you're a Dunbar fan, I'm sure you are rejoicing right now because they have remained absolutely solid. So these two teams will move on. Riverdale going to have to learn from their mistakes. That's really all they can do at this point. But once again, it's 35-0. Dunbar beats Riverdale from Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a safe Friday night and a safe remainder of your weekend. Have a good night, everybody.